In this video, we're gonna work in the fields section. So we're gonna add some text and an image. And it's gonna be over in the left-hand side right here in the fields. You'll be able to customize it, put whatever image you want, put whatever text you want, and then we're gonna insert it into our widget. So, fields. If we go here, this is the dev.StreamElements. These are the documentation for custom widgets. The fields is technically in, I guess it's JSON format. So this is JSON. And I'll just copy the whole thing and I'll put it in so we can see all the things that they offer. All the things we're allowed to mess with. So first, some text. The type is text, the label, and the value. Okay, now next is a checkbox. Next is a color picker. Next is a number. Well, we'll see. I'm not sure if that's you type in the number or we'll see. Some slider. Drop-down menu, image, video, sound. You can do a font. I'm gonna remove the font right now. We'll get into that later. Some button. Gonna remove that too. Widget name. I don't even know what that is. We'll see. All right, so here we go. So now we've put the fields in. Some text. We can type in whatever we want. Some checkbox, some color. We can choose a color. Count. Okay, so that's what it is. Yes, there's a number and just lets you choose an integer. Slider right there. Choose an option. Okay. Image. Some video, audio. All right. So I'm gonna delete all the ones that we don't want. Text, we want. We'll leave that. We don't want a checkbox. I'm actually gonna, so we'll do a color picker too. I'll show you, so we'll be able to pick a color and we'll put it on our yellow box. Color picker, okay, number, no. Some slider. Okay, I'll leave the slider and I'll show you something with it. Drop down, no. Image, yes. We're gonna keep the image. And then everything else we're gonna delete. It's important. You have to remember everything is in these brackets. So everything lives within these little curly brackets. So if you like accidentally delete the first one, and then you come back here, so everything's gonna be gone. So you have to have the right format for it, which I've done many times, just deleting and adding random curly brackets. It can get really bad. So the best thing I found is if you ever keep getting an error and you don't know what's going on, Control A, copy, go paste it into ChatGPT, and it'll tell you the error right away. Okay, so we're left with text, color picker, slider, and image. I'm going to change the names. So this right here, let's say we're going to call this title. Type, text, leave that. Label, let's call this widget title. And in the default, so the value, this is just what it's going to start as. People can change it, but this is just what it's going to start as. So let's just call this tutorial widget. All right, some color picker. Let's just call this color. Type, we need that. Let's call this box. Color, value, whatever. Some slider. Okay, I'm gonna call this left slider. Label, let's say distance from left. Values 10, min, and then max we'll say 800. And the step, this is the increments. So right now, the step, it would go up by 1. But going up to 800, that's a lot. So we're gonna do 10. So it can go from 0 to 800 in increments of 10. Some image, we're just gonna call this image. Okay. And we're just gonna call this, okay, some image, that's fine. There we go. So now, let's let people choose a color here. Select. And then I want this color here to change the box color. There's a bit of setup for this first. We have to grab all the information from the fields and then put it somewhere and use it. So we have to grab it, put it somewhere, and use it. Now, I'm actually gonna go back, do a new overlay, and do exactly what I did before, but I'm not gonna delete. So the default custom widget that they have, it is a, I don't know what you'd call this. I guess it's an event widget. It shows you the latest events. So like these are my last 5 followers, and I only have 4. Okay, so let's go into JavaScript. In JavaScript, there are 2 things. These are event listeners. The 2 most important event listeners in StreamElements when you're making widgets is called onEventReceived, and that will trigger when an event happens. So if you get a follow, that's an event. If you get a chat message, that's an event. If someone buys something from your shop, that's an event. Someone subs, that's an event. All the things that can happen on your stream, those are events. So for example, right here, we're in the event received function. This one is the follower. So if the listener, if it's a follower, then it's gonna do this, add event follower. If the event is a redemption, it's gonna do this. If it's a subscriber, it's gonna do that. Host, cheer, tip, okay. So that's where you handle events. But the one we need right now for the fields is called onWidgetLoad. And this one runs immediately at the beginning of the widget. So right when the widget loads, this happens. And we use this to kind of set up the whole widget. This is where we set everything up. So I'm gonna copy everything. Okay, tutorial. All right. So, gonna say paste it here. Now, I don't want any of this stuff. So I'm gonna strip it down to the bare bones. Okay, so this is the bare minimum onWidgetLoad function. And I'm gonna do something. So this is console.log. This will log some text into the console. So on load, I'm gonna say widget loaded. Okay, the widget loaded and we don't see it, but if you're making widgets, the console is your best friend. While you're in the website, I want you to hit F12. This brings up the developer tools. And up here, I think you can see that. Yeah, there's a thing called the console. All right, there's gonna be lots of text, lots of stuff. This is the console for JavaScript. So there's a lot going on in here. A lot of it has nothing to do with you. A lot of it has to do with StreamElements. Yeah, actually, just within the past few weeks, this has gotten crazy. Like it used to be, you start the widget and there's a couple lines, but I don't know, something's going on with StreamElements. I think they're redoing some stuff. But here we go. So you see this right here. Widget loaded. That's what we typed right here, widget loaded. All right. So this is getting called right there. That's getting called right when the widget loads. Okay, we're gonna be in the console a lot. It can be terrifying, I understand, but you need it. On widget load, we have this thing. It's called the object. So I'm gonna log the object so we can look at it. And the object, it contains all the information about the widget. And in JavaScript, you used to need semicolons. You don't. It's up to you. You can do either or now. I usually don't do them. But here we go. So I'm gonna print the object and we're gonna take a look through it. So F12. Oh my God, why is this? Yeah, I don't know what's... So this is a lot. It's not usually like this. This is... Okay, so here we go. This is the object that I console logged, I printed. So if we go in here, where'd it go? Yeah, right here. So if we click the arrow, it will untwirl. And here we go. We have all the CSS is in here, so you can see there's the main container, and it has all our CSS. It has the HTML right there. It's got the JavaScript right there. So this is basically our whole widget just kind of packed down into a little thing. In the field data. That's not right. All right, I'm gonna save and redo this. I don't know where all. Here we go. Okay, this is better. This is what it usually looks like. I don't know what all that stuff was. So here we go. Custom event on widget load. That is what I console logged. So this was console logged from somewhere else from StreamElements. I didn't do that. So here we go. Now we're in the right spot. And if I untwirl it, all right, we got some things like we're not even gonna look at 95% of it. What we want, I believe it's in detail. And then field data. So, no, field data, sorry, that's the data. Where's color? There, okay, all right, yes. So this is what we want. Sorry, there's a lot more. There's a lot of other things I wasn't expecting in here. That's why I'm a bit confused. Okay, so there's a lot of information that I'm not looking for. So I want color, because remember we called this one here color. And that's what it's listed as in here, color. We called this one title, left slider, and image. So we have title, left slider, 10, and image. Where are we at? Oh, and okay, so image is blank. So we don't have, there's no info right now for image. Okay. All right, so I just took you through all that just to tell you that that is where this information gets stored. That's where it begins. So we have to kind of extract it out. So in here, this is the object, and then we went into detail, and then we went into field data. So I'm gonna make a variable called field data, and it's gonna be object dot detail dot field data. Okay, and then I will just console log that just so we can see it. Make sure I'm actually in the right spot. There we go. So that's all our field data without all that other information. So we're kind of zeroed in just on the field data. Now, let's say something like, so I want to get the field data for the title. So remember we called this title. Let's console log that. And right there, that's it. Tutorial widget, okay? And then if I go, so color, it should print this this green 32F61B. And there we go. Probably hard for you to see that, but it's there, I promise. Okay, so that's how we get all of our information. That's where it lives to start. So now, actually, I'm gonna delete the yellow part. I'm gonna leave the box part. So right now, the box should go back to blue. Okay. Now, I'm gonna declare some variables. So the way you declare a variable is with let. And I think we had, I think it was called title, color, left slider, and we'll just call this image, img. No, let's do image. I've named this the same as this, but you don't have to. Like, I could name this colors. I can, this is a new variable, so this is in the JavaScript. And then we come in here, and I want to make title equals field data title. So I've taken the field data that I just showed you, all that information that I spent a while going through. We're taking that and we're putting it into the variable in JavaScript called title. So now it lives in this variable title. Colors equals field data color. All right, remember that's what we called it in the field data. Left slider equals, so I'm not gonna type all this out. Field data, I think left slider is what I called it. And then copy, paste, image equals field data image. Okay, so let's console log all these things and see if we actually have them in the JavaScript variables. And if you haven't noticed, the console log is your best friend. When I make a widget, I'm probably checking 100 times for which variables I have. So basically, you see no difference. We haven't displayed any of the information yet. But here we go. This is perfect. So we have the color. We have the color twice. We have the tutorial widget. We have the color. We have the 10 for the left slider. And then undefined, that's the image. And that's because we don't have an image yet. So that's all good. That's what we want. I have this box up here. Remember, I changed the color of it to yellow. So now, I'm just gonna do the same thing, but I'm gonna change the color to colors. And it should be green. Boom. Beautiful. Okay. And we do all this in the onWidgetLoad function. There's many different layers to this. So if you really wanted to get good, or you really wanted to, I would make a function. The next step would be, so we have this function called handle colors. And then I would put that in there, and then I would call this handle color function, and it does the same thing, but it's a better way to do it because we can then add, because we probably have more colors than just one, or we will eventually. So anytime we can add more colors in here, and that's just, I'm getting ahead of myself, but yeah. Okay, so we changed the color right there. Now, the title. So we already have this box. Let's display the title in the box. Okay, so box. Now, we're not doing styles. We're actually adding text. Let me show you something real quick. So, let's say you can add text into divs, and it'll display like that. And if I wanna style that text, I can do font size, let's say 30 pixels, color white. There we go. So the text is bigger and it's white. I'm gonna leave the styling, and I'm gonna delete the text I just wrote. Now we're gonna do box dot inner text equals title. So it's gonna take that title tutorial widget and it's gonna put it in the box. There we go. And if we change it, it changes it too. And apologies, it all gets very complex very quick. So like HTML is simple, CSS is simple, JavaScript is not simple, but once you start mixing them all together, it gets very complex very quick. So if you're struggling right now, I would just say follow along, rewatch the video. It's about to get more complex. All right, we have the color and the title. Now let's do something with this left slider. So I want to let the user, so right now the box, the pink box, is up against the edge. I want them to be able to move it as far as they want away from the left. All right, well, not as far as they want, up to, so they'll be able to do 0 to 800, because that's the limit we set. Okay, so we're getting into CSS formatting, which can be really frustrating, but I'm just gonna do it, I'm just gonna show it to you, and we have positions. Now the main container is the red one. We're gonna make that relative. The blue box, we're gonna make that position absolute. And what that means is, so if I go back here, it won't change anything. But now I can go in and I can say left and say 300 pixels. And the box will move 300 pixels from the left. I can say top. I can do percentages here too. So I can say 50%. And it moved it down 50%, like its starting point is at 50%. Let's say 100 pixels. All right, so you see I can move, now I can move the pink box because I set the positions relative, absolute. It's very confusing, the CSS. But basically, right now we can move this box with pixel numbers. Left, you can even do right, and you can do bottom. There we go. And you can even do negative. Okay. Actually gonna delete it, and it's gonna go back to 0, 0. So it's gonna go top left corner. Okay. Now, we're gonna let the user move the box left however many pixels they want. First, I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna make a mistake on purpose just to show you something. So, box dot, I think it's style, box.style.left. So this is that property we were messing with, the left. I did 300 pixels, and it went 300 pixels left. So right now, left slider. I think the value is at 10. So it should move the box left 10, but it doesn't. But the reason, so let's try again. Like if I put this 400, we want the box to go 400 pixels to the left. But the reason it's not is because this right here is just a number. It's just 400. So right now, this is putting the left at 400, and it doesn't know what it is. It doesn't know if it's pixels. It doesn't know percent. It doesn't know view width. So we have to add px. So that will add the pixel value, and there we go, 400. All right, pretty good. This is, I know this is probably confusing for a lot of people, but this is the meat of the widgets right here. All right, and now let's do an image. Okay, I got a lot of weird images in here. Let's do a Halloween one, but whatever. No, okay. We'll pick this guy. We have our turtle, or whatever image you want. Now we have to display it. So in HTML, so far we've only done divs, where a div is basically just a box, and then you get to style the box, and the box has text. That's kind of it. Style and text. Now we're gonna add a new tag, a new element, image. So img, and close it. And that's the image tag. You don't need to close it in this way like that. You can declare it and close it in the same bracket. Okay, but in image, it needs a thing called a source. So the image source is src, and right now we don't have one. We can't know the source because the user is going to put whatever they want in there. So we don't know what it is yet. So to start off, we're going to leave it blank. And there we go. Nothing's changed. Oh, so another thing we have to do, I forgot. So let's give it an ID. Because we have to, we got to grab it in JavaScript. So we need an ID. Let's call it user image. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing up here. I'm going to grab it in the same way. But no box. Let's call it image. Oh, actually, so here's a good problem to run across. I already have the variable image. So if I name this image, it's going to mess up. I'm going to run into a whole lot of trouble. So you can't have the same name for two variables. So let's call this user image. Okay, and the ID, what was it again? User dash image. Okay, and then let's do user image. And so we need to set the source, the src. So user image.src equals, And we already have the information right here. So we're just gonna do equals image. And there it is. So this comes back to the absolute and relative positioning that I was talking about before. So ID user image, let's go ahead and style the user image. And we're gonna do the same. It's gonna be position, absolute. Let's make it small. So let's say, it's not left, width. Let's make it, like I know this image is a square, so I'm just gonna make it a square. And then we're gonna do right 0. So it should make it smaller and put it on the other side. Yeah, there we go. Now, I know that was a lot. So to go back over what we just did, the main thing was the fields. So we declared these fields, we declared the variable names and what type of field they were gonna be. And then in JavaScript, in the onWidgetLoad, we got the information, we set that information to variables we made in JavaScript, and then we set to sort of view the things, display the information. We took the boxes or the images, whatever we were doing, and we connected the information to the boxes and the images. And yeah, that was a lot of information, but I would say, so 75% of the widgets that I've made, this is the base. This is the basics of those widgets. So yeah, you let people put their own images in. You let people choose where the boxes go and stuff. And this is another reason why I like to set my widgets full screen right in the center, and I tell people not to mess with them. So if someone wanted to change the widget and they come in here, like now it's all messed up. There's just, you can't, everything is all not where you had it. So yeah, for me, if I want to let people move things around, I always give them the option in the settings. But I tell them to never resize or reposition in StreamElements. Yeah, it's just kind of a constraint I set that, like, don't touch anything in here. If you want to resize or reposition, do it in OBS after you've added it as a browser source. That's fine. But I want to keep my widgets like this, so I know where everything's going to be. Okay, that was a lot. Next video, we're going to learn some animation.